I know a lifelong dream of many people on my channel. I know a lifelong dream of many of the subscribers on my channel is to get to Thailand and do some fantastic training. But for some of you, you're waiting for the right moment to come. Maybe you're saving money, maybe you can't leave your job, maybe you have a family, and you're just going, oh, what am I missing in terms of knowledge? Well, I'm gonna share with you some things that I learned when I was over there that I've never been instructed on anywhere else. One of the main takeaways to my time in Thailand was learning how to throw people and sweep people. Couldn't really do it very well before my 3 months in Thailand. And then I spent a decade after really trying to fine tune everything, got it down very nice. And my sweeps and throws course, which is coming up, much of my skill set there is attributed to that trip in Thailand. If you guys want to join this course, this is the last weekend to get early bird pricing, 40% off, and we start March 10th. We have 25 videos, 3 live calls, and so much fantastic material for you to up that skill set and start tossing people in sparring or in your fights. Start demonstrating a real dominance over people. So, my time in Thailand. It was fantastic, it was fun. Many people do not have the time to get all the way over there, and you might be wondering, well, what are some of the things that I'm missing that I'm not taught at my local gym? And I want to share with you guys some of the main things which I went, oh, nobody taught me that before. Why didn't they? I've been at many gyms, I've trained with many coaches, but the guys in Thailand have a unique take on things. Now, some of the things I'm going to show you, you may choose to disregard, as I have. For instance, very first thing, when I was in Thailand and we hit pads, whenever we did boxing, they didn't want us coming straight and straight back. They wanted here and a bit of a drop. So when we hit pads, it was more like, boom, more like that. Getting that elbow flared up a little bit, getting that drop, same on the jab, and boom, getting that downwards motion so you kind of clip and aim through. Now, I don't do this that much because I am so focused on the follow-up, the counter shots, which might hit me by dropping like that for too long. I want to get in and back or out and back as quick as I can, defend that head. But you can create a ridiculous extra amount of power by getting that drop down. And if you take a shot here and it kind of drops in, there's an extra element of being damaged by it. But if you do decide to try this, just make sure you don't let the hand go too low down. I don't mind something like that, but when we start really winging through, that's a mistake. But still something that I thought was interesting. The next thing, which was actually Buakaw's trainer, which he was correcting me on, is he was saying, okay, you're throwing the round kick and you're looking towards your opponent or the pads. He said, no, 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 no. Because if your shoulders are turning, but you're actively trying to keep your head here, you're not maximizing power. So he said, use your peripheral vision and turn and look that direction without actually having to have your head facing there. So when I was doing my pad work, a lot of times it was there, and it might look like I'm actually turning my head and looking away, but you can really see everything over here without having to be directly in line with it. Now, when I was in Thailand and I was clinching with the guys who were slightly smaller than me, they had this way of always breaking down my ability to grab them and manhandle them. How do they do it? If I was controlling them or I was being controlled, they take their shin, they would place it across the thighs, they would grab the head and they would push and pull. Push down here, pull up there, and essentially just end up kind of buckling the person. So if we were in the clinch and they felt, oh, I'm getting out strengthened or I'm in a bad position, just a little hop backwards and frame out. And I really like that one. Whenever I end up with somebody bigger now and I feel like, uh-oh, they're starting to use muscle against me and I want to create distance, this is the one I go to. And I only learned this in Thailand, and it's something you can add in. You're playing away, oh, they do something, you end up in a bad position, just a little hop, skip, and just pulling down and pushing out. Now in North America, we have 3 basic kicks: front kick, round kick, and a side kick. But a side kick is more of a karate style or taekwondo style thing, and you won't go to Thailand and see many people actually execute that. But what they did have was the Thai side kick, which to me felt a little sloppy, a little lazy. But then once I started learning it, I realized, okay, it's like a front kick, but I can't quite reach all I do is I lift, and at the last second I turn it and I increase my pivot. Now the thing I like about this kick is it's very hard to grab because you're finishing this direction with your heel pointing out as opposed to here where the escape is more difficult. So I love doing this in Thailand because what was very common when they would call for, you have your pad holder and they're like, okay, teep. A lot of times they'd try and trap you and they didn't care about, you know, you're foreigner or local. They'll try and sweep you over. They were doing it all the time. So as I learned this kick, I realized, okay, I can stop getting swept by them when they call for a teep. Instead of just going here and then having them lock out, I can give them that extra push to create more distance between them and myself, and then I can quickly drag my leg away. And this was something which, it wasn't so much they taught me, but I realized when I was there. But if I would have been back home in North America trying to do that, especially in a karate gym, they'd be going, no, 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 you gotta turn and chamber your leg. But in Thailand, just right there, and at the last second you turn. And I like this kick substantially more than a side kick. Now, one final thing they had us do in Thailand, and to be very transparent, this is not a technique which I love. I don't use it frequently, but I've seen many people who do. It's kind of similar to that frame we were talking about a couple points ago, except what we would do is we would throw our roundhouse kick, which normally just comes back. That's what we always do. Boom, back here. But what they would have us do is they would catch and then start trying to pressure forward as the pad holder. So instead of landing here, they want you finishing off in a frame position. So you throw your big round kick in, boom, and then you bend. You get that extra little turn, kick, and then frame out. And I like this one, especially if you're somebody who is heavy into the round kicks. If you're somebody who is always going, okay, I'm blasting, and this person's trying to block and come back with punches, you can end up kicking and then framing and keeping yourself very safe. Something that, again, I don't utilize, but I've been on the receiving end of it. It works quite nicely, and it might just be something that works very well for you. If you're gonna play around with this, I would say just get a support surface, practice getting to here, and then dropping and framing just to start. Boom. Just getting that extra little motion at the end. So there are some things which I learned in Thailand, which really, without that trip, maybe I would have picked up on at some point, but being there, learned it so much faster. So hopefully that gives you a few of the tips that you will learn if you get to Thailand, and if you don't, you got them here.